Everybody set up? Yes. Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sandy Frentz. I'm the Public Information Officer for the event. I just thought I would start out with a few statistics for you today. After that, you'll be hearing from Public Works Director Mark Cotter. Regan Smith, our City Emergency Manager, is with us today. Jason Gierman, the County Emergency Manager, is with us today. And we're also being joined today by Corey Schroeder, who's a representative, the State Administrator from Team Rubicon. For some updates from yesterday's efforts, on Wednesday, the 20th of March, 18,500 sandbags were passed out at the sandbag filling operation. Just a reminder, we're giving people 25 sandbags at a time. People are more than welcome to go through more than once, and the reason at this point we're kind of limiting it to 25 bags is, number one, we know that filling sandbags can be strenuous work. We don't want people to overexert themselves. We want to recognize the fact that sandbags are heavy and can be a tough load to haul in vehicles. And then it also kind of helps facilitate the efficiency of the sandbag filling site. So please know that people are welcome to go through more than once. As of end of day yesterday, there's been 1,132 loads of flood-related debris taken out to the Sioux Falls Regional Landfill. Just a reminder that landfill serves Minnehaha, Lincoln, Turner, McCook, and Lake counties. So people living in all 5 of those counties that have flood-related debris can bring items in, and at this point we are waiving the entry fee or the gate fees for folks bringing in flood-related debris. Hours at the landfill are Monday through Saturday, 7:30 in the morning to 5:30 at night. Yesterday, law enforcement officers issued 13 citations for violations due to the parks closures. Just a reminder again that we can cite people that are in all the parks, not just Falls Park, so please do respect the barriers and barricades that are in place. As of yesterday, end of business, our 211 helpline center had received 803 flood-related calls, so that would be since last Wednesday when we first started this event. 104 of those calls have been homeowners, or 104 homeowners have called and have asked for assistance. They're looking for support hauling things out of their basement, moving things to higher ground, and then also for sandbagging assistance to protect their properties. The 211 Helpline Center has received phone calls from 122 people that have stepped up, and volunteered to help people with that type of activity. And then in addition to that, they've received another 1,400 plus calls, and they have 1,400 people signed up to do sandbag operations at Sherman Park. So they've really filled their time slots at this point for assisting at the sandbag operation. As far as parks updates are concerned, beginning noon today, Park and Rec staff are going to be placing barricades at the access points to the bike trail system. We will be closing the bike trail system effective at noon tomorrow. The reason we're doing this is because as the river waters increase, we'll be putting levee patrols out to monitor the levee, and we need to make sure that the folks doing that have safe access around the levees. In addition to that, Lean Park has now been added to the park closure list. And then to help people track some of those closures, last week we set up that hazardous intersections map that's been linked to our website. We have expanded that now. It's now called a hazardous locations map in Sioux Falls, although it is also reflecting road closures out in Minnehaha County. So we've got a board showing you what that looks like now. We are now including parks closures on that map, and then as the water levels increase this weekend, if it impacts roads and road closures, then we'll continue to update that map. So that's available at siouxfalls.org/floods. The other thing that we have available at that website is we've linked several webcam feeds that are placed along the Big Sioux River, as well as one that's looking at the operations of the sandbag filling operation at Sherman Park. So if folks want to get out and see what things look like, go to that website and see what things look like, you can certainly go to our page and view how things are going at those locations. So with that, I would like to turn things over to Director Cotter for an operational update.
Good morning. I'm Mark Cotter on the Public Works team, and We'll cover a significant amount of information today, and then after we're all done, if you have any questions, we'd love to answer them. Operational update for you. Yesterday, we did receive information from National Weather Service that the peak flows were slightly reduced. Skunk Creek is expected to crest Monday morning, and we're gearing up for a peak flow of about 10,500 CFS. The Big Sioux River is now expected to have 2 crests, and so with the drop and spread out some of that flow over 2 crests. One we expect will happen early Tuesday morning, and we're looking at about a 19,500 CFS crest, and then a second crest will come through the city on Friday morning, and that one should be in that 18 to 20,000 CFS range. These predicted crests would be the second largest since 1969, so we are still urging people to be prepared, take precautions to certainly protect your property if you're in or near the floodplains near these river systems. The majority of the flows with these revised flows will be routed through the diversion channel, and as Sandy mentioned, we've got a number of webcams that will be public, and you can go to the city's webpage, siouxfalls.org/flood, and again, there's a lot of information out there, but you'll also be able to look at some of the webcams as these flows start to route through our city. Public sanding operations at Sherman Park are going really smoothly. The information about the public sandbag locations on the website, Sandy gave you some just great stats. It's really, the site's really nice and spread out, and so people are coming through there for each trip that they're getting their respective sandbags. It will be turned over to Team Rubicon. They're a national disaster response team, and very soon you'll hear Corey speak about that, give you some more background about what Team Rubicon does. Just a fantastic organization that serves communities nationwide. We do expect to have all the at-risk sanitary sewer lift stations protected by Friday, so we can be in position to monitor them as the flows start to come in early next week. We are communicating with people that potentially could be impacted by river flows, and so yesterday we stood up this large door hanger. We've got teams of people out right now. There's about 700 property owners that we're going door to door to place this on. And again, it's if you're either in or near the FEMA's 100-year floodplain, and generally following that lower part of the Big Sioux River is the key target areas. We're also, if we meet someone at their house, we've got these one-way sewer drain plugs that we mentioned yesterday. This is a key. This is a great safeguard that property owners can take. It can go in your floor drain, and it only allows water to go one direction. And so water can go straight through, and then if it ever gets any back pressure, it'll close the valve. You can also buy them at your local plumbing store for a little bit larger that you can put in like a basement shower. And so you can take a look at that after the event here this morning. We are working to identify and protect neighborhoods as we're able to, and the key one that we'll work on today is near Tomar Park on that Twin Oaks Road. So we'll be using a product that we heard our partners in Fargo have used extensively. It's called Trap Bag. It's one word. Here's some pictures of what some of those larger trap bags look like. Down at Tomar Park, we only need a 2-foot tall trap bag. And so yesterday we pre-positioned about 85 loads of sand, and then we also procured a local contractor to set up these trap bags. They should arrive by noon today, and then we'll start to fill those. Sandy will be working with the media to actually get you a good, safe location so you can observe that activity, but it will be a very busy activity, and so we want to make sure that people just don't go down there. We want to make sure that to get the media down, we'll find a good location for you that's safe, but also gives you a good view of that operation. I would expect that will be later this afternoon, since we're expecting them to arrive in town about noon. We're going to be protecting about a 2,000-foot long stretch along that road, so it is going to go on for several hours. as we tune that up. The levee system that this city, the state, and the federal agency of the Army Corps of Engineers is invested in is fully functional, and it's ready to go. We are standing up levee inspection teams that starting Sunday. We will have 4 teams of 2 that will be scheduled to be working 12-hour shifts around the clock that will be driving the tops of the levee, making sure that the integrity of the levee system remains intact as we pass these large flows through the city. We've also had our bridges from the last event inspected, and no concerns have been raised about those bridges. And so that'll be good information. We'll likely do that again if we see high flows again like we just seen come through. We continue to work with the Corps of Engineers. They're a great team, great resource. They provide us technical assistance as we have some key questions on how we protect various infrastructure. We are expecting higher wastewater flows as we go into this, and so starting next week we're really going to reach out to the media to help us inform residents to help us manage those flows. And if those rise, we'll potentially ask people to again reduce their water usage just to give us some relief on the wastewater system. And as always, if you've got a sump pump, please make sure you're discharging that outside your structure. Pull it out to your front driveway, let it go down the hard surface. Ultimately, it'll route its way to the storm sewer system and to the rivers and streams. That's what I have for you. I'll bring up Team Rubicon. Corey Schrader has just arrived, and we'll give you a perspective of their work ahead. Corey?
As he said, my name is Corey Schroeder. I'm the South Dakota State Administrator with Team Rubicon. Team Rubicon is an international disaster response organization that unites the skills and experiences of military veterans with first responders and civilians to rapidly deploy emergency response teams. Since our founding in 2010, Team Rubicon has deployed on more than 320 disaster response operations around the world. While a majority of our organization are military veterans, we also have a large amount of first responders and civilians involved with Team Rubicon. Engaging both veterans and civilians as Team Rubicon volunteers promotes veteran reintegration and bridges the gap between military and civilian life. Team Rubicon seeks to provide our veterans with an avenue to regain 3 things they lose after leaving the military: a purpose gained through disaster response, community built by serving with others, and identity created by joining a new mission. Between and during disaster response operations, Team Rubicon engages our members in training, service projects, and social events to ensure we build the strongest, most effective cadre of disaster response workers in the world, along with community relations. Some of the different types of trainings that we allow our volunteers to take are ICS classes, chainsaw operations, heavy equipment operations, debris management, muck out, core ops, first aid trainings as well. Team Rubicon has adopted FEMA's National Incident Management System, which gives our disaster response team an advantage in being able to communicate and interact seamlessly with federal, state, and local levels and agencies. In this year alone, 2019, Team Rubicon has launched 13 disaster response operations, and volunteers have completed more than 4,000 hours of disaster response training online and in person. These trainings allow our members to be more prepared when going and deploying into these disaster zones, as well as helping with other volunteers and spontaneous volunteer management. Here in South Dakota, on Monday, March 18th, we were reached out by Regan Smith, the City of Sioux Falls Emergency Manager, for assistance with flood mitigation. We'll assist with ongoing response, mitigation, and recovery efforts in Sioux Falls for 4 days, beginning today and ending on Sunday, March 24th. Our task force will provide spontaneous volunteer management to build and distribute sandbags to affected homeowners in coordination with local and state authorities. There could be a potential to move into debris removal and muck out preparations and operations depending on the scope and escalation of the flooding in Sioux Falls. If you are interested in learning more about our organization, you can go to teamrubiconusa.org. That's TEAM, Rubicon, RUBICON, USA.org. And if you want more info and you're interested and want to sign up, you can sign up there as well to be a volunteer. My name, as I said earlier, was Corey Schroeder. And if you have any more questions or would like to reach out and get involved with us here, you can email me at korey.schroeder, SCHROEDER, at teamrubiconusa.org. Thank you very much for your time, and we're looking forward to helping the community of Sioux Falls in any way that we can.
Thanks, Corey. Regan Smith, Emergency Manager, City of Sioux Falls. Just a quick, couple of quick updates. The city's Emergency Operations Center is continuing our full-scale operations. We're continuing to do that planning, operations, logistical support, and the public information, and we plan on continuing that as long as needed. We continue to collaborate with our community, county, state, and now national partners. I'd like to thank the Civil Air Patrol for conducting their second flight to survey the snowpack and river level conditions along the Skunk Creek and the Big Sioux River Basin yesterday. That's very useful information for us. We'll be evaluating our needs moving forward over the weekend, whether we need to go to 24-hour operations to ensure that we have the staff to do that. Secondly, I wanted to mention Sioux Falls Fire Rescue, Sioux Falls Police, Sioux Falls Animal Patrol, and the Dakotas Red Cross have developed an evacuation plan. If that becomes necessary, the plan includes identification of shelter location, evacuation routes, transportation methods within those impacted neighborhoods, as well as plans for sheltering pets. With that, I'll turn it over to Jason Gierman with Minnehaha County.
As far as Minnehaha County is concerned, weather forecast hasn't changed much, so we're looking at similar expectations in Del Rapids. Currently, Del Rapids does not need any more volunteers. However, through the weekend, we may change that as people start to decide that they need some sandbags or assistance. And we'll advertise that when that comes up, that there will be a need, I'm guessing, through the weekend. Similar to what Sioux Falls is doing, our deputies are out right now putting flyers on homes that are in the floodplain. So if you see one of those flyers, it basically has the same information on that we've put on our website with the FAQs. So other than that, things are pretty much the same. I've met with all the townships and the fire departments last night, and everybody is hopeful that everything will turn out okay, and especially in Del Rapids, Baltic, Renner, and Brandon is obviously preparing too. So if there's any questions specific to the county, I'll take them now. If not, I'll turn it back over to the city.
Do you know if Brandon is still looking for volunteers? You said Del Rapids isn't, but...
I'm not sure about Brandon, but if I get that call, we can certainly put it out. They did have a number of people out last night sandbagging the ice rink. I know that was happening, and there's been some requests for jersey barriers that should be delivered. Hopefully, if they haven't been, they're on their way. All right, thank you.
Okay, is there any questions we can help you with yet today?
Is there a possibility that if the levee were to be breached, like we've seen in Nebraska and other places, how would that be mitigated? I'm not sure who to ask that.
Thank you. So that's one of the key reasons to also have the Corps of Engineers here, because first of all, you've got to make sure you're looking at the integrity of the levees, but you also pre-position loads of clay, sandbags, things of that nature. So if we see anything, affecting the integrity of the levees, we've got material very close, and so we've got that's part of the pre-planning that you do with these high flows as well. Todd, did you have a question?
What's the jersey barrier?
So a jersey barrier is very common. What you see, probably the best way to visualize it is that concrete barrier that separates north and southbound lanes on 229. Only these are modular, so they're normally about 30 inches tall. They're 12 feet long. They weigh between 5,000 and 6,000 pounds. So we've used those on Tomar Park Road before. Put plastic down, put the Jersey barriers down, wrap it over, and then sandbag the seams. And so people have seen those before. You see them on a lot of construction projects, and they're just a great modular barrier that you can move into place really quickly.
Mark, can you expand a little bit on why this barrier is being placed in Tomar Park specifically? Is it in a response to the flooding that happened within that neighborhood last week?
So when we have time and we know high flows are coming through, this is an area where the city has actually put temporary levees in before, with like what Todd just said, with the Jersey barriers. And so, and I apologize, the question was, is there a reason we're in that Tomar Park area? Our modeling shows that with some of the predicted flows that are coming through, this neighborhood could be affected again. But just like last week, it happened in a matter of hours, whereas this we have almost a week to prepare. And that's why we're taking the steps. There's a number of homes and structures down in that area that this temporary levee will protect.
You mentioned that the river levels, the National Weather Service said that the river levels have gone down.
Mm-hmm.
How does that compare to last week's river levels as far as when they're going to crest?
As far as flow?
Yes.
Okay, so the question was how do those flows of what's being predicted really benchmark what's expected to come through? Let me just check my notes quick. Last week we expected that we had about 16,000 to 17,000 CFS come down Skunk Creek. We're expecting about 10,500 CFS to come down. So if predictions stay as they've updated their forecasts yesterday, we should see lower volumes of water coming through on the Skunk Creek segment of the river system.
Regan, you mentioned an evacuation plan. Is that available so people can find it, to look at it?
No, we'll contact them. This is more an operational plan for our public work or public safety folks, how fire, police, and animal control are going to go in. We'll notify those residents through a number of ways, door to door, social media, and then we've got some emergency text systems that will notify those residents if they're going to be evacuated and where to evacuate to, and if they need transportation, where to get to so we can transport them.
And last night there was a false report at Falls Park that someone had fallen into the river there. Is it frustrating for you guys to hear that citations are still being handed out and hearing about that false report when these parks are closed?
It is, but it's just it kind of we've come to expect it that some people, no matter how much information and warning we provide, are going to violate that, and first responders are ready to respond and rescue those in need, regardless of how they got there.
Anything else? Thank you so much for joining us again today.